Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel, Life Odysseys. I'm Bobby, and compadre over there she is, Maggie. Now, if she sits there long enough while I do this video, we'll see. But I got these persuaders right here. That's right, dog treats. So, on today's video, the weather's kind of iffy outside. It's muddy. I can't really do much outside, and I'm waiting on parts from other projects. So today I thought we'd switch back to some racing a little bit. You have to bear with me on the voice. I know it probably sounds a little funny, but I'm trying to get used to these teeth. It'll work out. But yeah, I want to talk about something to do with racing. And after we got the quality sponsorship, they wanted to make a diecast of the car. And I was, it was pretty exciting. I was glad. Well, you live and you learn, if some of this, if this video sounds, maybe depressing, or if I'm bitching or whatever, I guess maybe it's both. But I'm just telling you the way it was, the way it, what happened. And it's a story I think it needs to be told. I don't know if there'll be people out there that don't like what I got to say, but I'm going to tell it the way I see it and how it happened. So after we got the quality sponsorship, that was a big deal for us. Well, not to kick a gift horse in the mouth, but after time, I, along with Gary, had started figuring out what was going on with this situation. Well, I try not to get ahead of myself on certain things, but basically this video is going to be about the diecast. But to have your own car as a diecast with your name on it, that's a big deal. I mean, it's exciting. But it didn't take long for that to wear off, and my attitude towards that started changing. But let me swipe you around here and I'll show you the first one that they come out with. So there's the first one they come out with. You see the name of the company there on the right hand side of the box. The second one after that was made by Racing Champions. This is a 1/18th and this is a 1/24th, I believe. But anyways, when these come out, it was an exciting deal. Very, very, very exciting. Because not having something like that before, it was pretty cool. I don't know if you can hear the thunder in the background, but it is thundering a little bit. But after the deal was made, or while the deal was made, no one from quality ever approached me about being paid royalties for these cars. Now, I don't know if the diecast deal, and I'll never know, if the diecast deal was part of the sponsorship that Dad was a part of. I have no idea. So we can either blame Dad or we can blame quality, or both. Doesn't matter to me. All I know is I didn't get paid any royalties on these cars, not one dime. Now this particular car here, when it came out, I can't remember exactly what price tag they had on it in the quality stores. I'm going to say $30 or $35. I can't remember which. So after I figured out that I wasn't going to be getting paid any royalties on it, I needed to try to make money on these cars. So I went around to the different quality stores, and that took time to do. And I bought all these cars up that I could. Brought them home, signed them, and then resold them. I sold some on the ARCA souvenir trailer at the time. And The amount of cars that I sold, and there again, you can believe this or not, the amount of money that I made on this particular car, I used that money to buy me a new washer and dryer for the house. And that's pretty much all the money I made off of that car right there was that. And I did that on my own. I didn't receive any royalty checks from Quality Farm Fleet, none. Then, when it come time to make another car, that's this one over here. Dad approached me about Quality had contacted me about building another diecast car. Well, I don't want to get really ahead of myself here, but going back to the first one, when I seen what was going on, I called this company that made this car about making me some cars. And those cars was going to cost right at $5 a piece to make. Now, I don't remember. I think they made 5,000 of these. You know, you got to figure now. It's been a while ago. So, but I'm pretty sure it was 5,000. This one here, it says here they made 3,252. $19.14 on that one. So I called the company and they told me $5 a piece. Well, now, if they're making them for $5 a piece and they were selling them for, let's just use a $30 amount, right? How much is that? How much is that? Well, I can tell you how much it is. If they made 5,000 of these cars and they were selling them in the store for $30 a piece, unless my math is wrong, that's $150,000. Now, if they bought them for $5 a piece, they paid $25,000 to have these cars made. You take $25,000 off of $150, that's $125,000. Well, folks, I'll be honest with you. Our sponsorship money from Quality was not $125,000. It was less than that. So now you know why I became a little upset about this deal. Because for the amount of money we was getting from Quality, the sponsorship was being paid off of the sale. You could say the sponsorship was being made off the sale of these cars and not paying me any royalties. Then you can say, well, you got to do what you wanted to do. Well, that's right. But you still had to live. And that, you know, trying to race on a shoestring budget and trying to live, it's pretty hard to do. Unless you've been down that road, you have no idea what you're talking about. So then we get to this car. So Dad approaches me about, hey, Quality called and said they want to make another diecast car that's going to be a 18th or 1/24 scale, and it's going to have like a bank in it. I looked him straight in the eye, and I told him, I said, Dad, I don't care if they make another car or not. I'm not making anything off that car, so I really don't care if they make one or not. Well, you see it sitting here, right? So what I said had no bearing on what was going to be done. They was going to do it anyways. And that could be, you could blame that on Dad, and that's fine. Or both. And you can say, well, your dad was doing what he needed to do to get money to go racing. Well, yeah, that's exactly right. But you always get on the short end of the stick. And that was the problem. That really was the beginning of the downfall of the whole deal, because, you know, they could have put somebody else in this car. but I'm the one sitting in it. I'm the one that's actually taking the risk of doing what we're doing. Yeah, I'm doing what I want to do, but still, I'm the one sitting in the seat. And I'm the one that has the final outcome and what's going to happen at the end of a race or during a race. Not anybody else standing in the pits, watching on TV, or sitting in the stands. That's just the way it is. Now, if I sound a little angry, I guess maybe I am. So then, after, I never even called about this car to see how much they was going to get for these. Because at that point, I didn't really care at that point. I guess my attitude wasn't very good, but it just is what it was what it was. That's all there is to it. And then we come to the next deal. Now, once you figure out what's going on, people don't, especially when you bring it up, people don't like to hear it, because when you finally get somebody figured out or a situation figured out, they don't like that you figured it out. Well, I'm not going to get these cars out of here and show you, but I can tell you. See, like the Valvoline on that sticker on that car, and then well, this one shows better. Right there in front of the quality, it says Power Pro Batteries by Excite. Then you got the Valvoline sticker. Then you got Peak on the deck lid and Carhartt. I think this was kind of the beginning of this deal where if you got a business like Quality had, or like say Kroger's today, or who else, pick one that sells pretty much everything. Like in Kroger's deal, it would be groceries. Quality's deal, they sell just about everything. Food, like Jerry Pinch said on a TV broadcast, they sell everything from fence posts to coveralls. So what Quality was doing, and there again, I'm not complaining about how they went about doing it, but they could afford, our sponsorship could have been a lot bigger than what it was. So if you take those companies, and whoever was in charge of this sponsorship deal goes to these companies, say, hey, how would you like to be on this car for, I don't know, $30,000 for the year? Chances are they're probably going to jump on that. Well, now, if you get enough of those, you're going to pay for the Quality sponsorship, and Quality will have nothing invested, if you understand what I'm saying. And that's exactly what was happening. And also the sale of these two Diecast cars. It was, it was a sore subject for me, and Gary too. He knew what was going on, but just kept plugging away. But the moral of the story is, things just wasn't handled correctly. Things may have been handled the way you thought they should have been handled, but they wasn't handled correctly. And this is a prime example of it. My bank account is overflowing with money from these two cars. I'm being sarcastic. Maggie moment. What are you doing, Maggie? Out walking around? You coming in here, you want a treat? Huh? Oh, yeah. Look at this, folks. Wait a minute. Dad's not that talented at doing all this. And look at that. Look at that dog. I think you deserve another one, don't you, huh? Get up here. Gee whiz. All right, Maggie. Let's try this again. One more time. You want a treat? There's your treat. Okay. All right, so that's pretty much the story on the diecast cars. I never made a dime off of them. I guess as far as royalty goes, I know royalties. I never made 1 cent off of these cars, not 1 penny. I had to make it. I had to buy these things. This big car. I had to buy them in order to make a little bit of money, and I took that money and paid and bought a new washer and dryer for the house. This one, I kind of washed my hands after that. I just washed my hands of this diecast deal because I'd seen the handwriting on the wall that I wasn't going to get any royalties off of this stuff. So, well, you know, after that, it wasn't long after that, the quality deal kind of dried up. Now, I don't know if they was having trouble, if the company was having trouble. I do know they ended up closing, but I'm sure that's probably had something to do with the money drying up as far as racing goes. But somebody made money on these cars. Somebody pocketed some money on these cars, and it wasn't me. And I'm kind of still pissed off about it this many years later. But you live and learn. I've lived to let it go for the most part. Just let it go. I mean, yeah, because every once in a while, depending on where I put these cars, especially things that's coming up that I'm going to show you, they're going to be visible. So you can't hardly get away from it, but you just go on and do your daily deal and forget about it for the most part, anyways. But I think that's going to be it on this video. Didn't mean to really rant and rave about it, but it is what it is. Some of the things that transpired, I'm not really going to speak for Gary. I'll tell you the way I see it. I don't think it was handled correctly. It just wasn't handled correctly. Yeah, we got to race and do what we wanted to do, but things just wasn't handled right. Not to, I mean, listen, racing was good to me. I mean, I had a good time. I feel I was successful at it. It kind of ended way sooner than I really wanted it to, but that's probably a topic for another video. But I'll just leave you with one thing I remember too. I remember qualifying at Pocono one day, and I drove her down in there as far as I could drive her down in there. Now, mind you, and that probably had a little bit of bearing on how fast we went too, because I didn't want to tear the shit up. You know what I mean? Because me and Gary had to fix the stuff, and Dad, and fixing them took a hell of a lot longer to fix than it did to tear them up. So when I come back in after I made my qualifying attempt at Pocono, Dad looked at me and he said, you drove her down in there, did you? I said, yeah, I did. I said, but Dad, I said, I'm doing all I can do. He says, I know it. And then he would say, he'd go, your dad's doing the best he can do too. I said, well, I get it. So yeah, it was a tough situation, but it's still, as far as the sponsorship deal goes with quality, it was not handled correctly. And I stand by that. There again, people can voice their opinions and leave me messages, do whatever you want. When it comes right down to it, there wasn't nobody there, absolutely nobody there. Even the people that helped me may have had a little bit of a clue, but they had no clue just how it was to deal with all that stuff in a family situation. They just don't. They just don't. They may think they do, but they don't. And for all the help that I got over the years in racing, I couldn't ask for a bunch of better people. Absolutely couldn't. And I appreciate every single one of them. There's too many of them to list. I mean, the list And to be honest with you, I'd probably forget somebody. The older I get, it seems like I'm forgetting a few things, but when I went the other day to take that cylinder up there to get the end taken off of it, I went in the house and got my billfold, come out, put the general away because I knew it may storm. Got out, got the keys of the car, and then I thought, what the hell did I do with my billfold? I say, Jiminy Christmas, I just went in the house and got it. Now what the hell did I do with it? Well, I threw it on the console of the general when I pulled it in, forgot all about it because I was so worried about getting in the car and getting up there and getting that deal fixed or getting that gland nut off. So yeah, getting the memory situation ain't quite as good as it used to be. The old saying, ain't good as it used to be, or ain't as good as I was or once was, or something. That's true. More Maggie look. All right, Maggie, you gonna say bye to everybody? I ain't giving you no treat. Nope. Nope. All right, everybody, that's gonna do it for this one. I hope you enjoyed it. I forgot to mention at the beginning of the video, everybody need to subscribe and like and share. Hit that notification bell. Hit it with a big fist. Hit the notification bell, share it. I got to get those views up. Please help me out. Got to get them views up. So do all that stuff for me. I appreciate it. And Maggie, Maggie appreciates it too. That way she gets some more doggy treats. Well, that'll do her. So for me and Maggie, everybody have a great afternoon. And me and her, we'll see you later.